Okay, so we'll be talking about air traffic services. Broadly, what are their objectives? What is their scope and how is it physically arranged in our airspace? Okay. And this is essentially the starting point for your RTR preparations because if you understand this, you'll be able to imagine what it looks like on the maps and charts that we use to answer those questions. And then it will be more practical, it will be more fluid for you to answer. आसान हो जाएगा आंसर करने के लिए. ठीक है, so let's begin. So we have something known as the ATS or air traffic services. You must have heard this term before, this abbreviation before, which stands as ATS. It stands for air traffic services. Okay, now air traffic services is a very broad name given to these three services that are provided to the pilots or to the people who are flying the aircraft, the flight crew, and everyone in the airspace. They are provided with three services. These three services are your control services, your information services, and your alerting services. So what are the main objectives of this service? Okay, see the main objectives here, if you read here, it says the air traffic control services main objectives are to prevent collisions between whom? Between aircrafts and on the maneuvering area between aircrafts and the obstructions. And the second objective is to expedite and maintain an orderly flow of air traffic. So what are the two objectives again? The two objectives are A, to prevent collisions. Collisions between whom? Collisions between two aircrafts, okay, on ground, in air. Or it could also mean to prevent collisions between an aircraft and an obstruction on the ground, or another vehicle on the ground in the maneuvering area, or another aircraft on ground. So all kinds of collisions that can happen, their objective is to prevent those collisions. While they are preventing those collisions, their secondary objective, okay, is what? To maintain and expedite the traffic flow. Okay, there should be no congestion. There should be a clear flow of traffic at all times. Okay, so their main objectives can be summed up in these 2 points. Okay, now you have, now let's see, a easier way to remember कि air traffic services में कौन से 3 parts आते हैं. It would be air traffic control services, it would be air traffic information services, and the alerting services. Okay, mainly when we talk about the objectives, okay, if for that matter even information services to an extent, those objectives apply to these both. Majorly they apply to control services. ठीक है, बट एक बार देखते हैं ये तीनों क्या काम करते हैं. Let's start with information services. So these guys provide information, whatever information is required to carry out the safe flight. Okay, it includes your air reports, it includes your pilot reports, it also includes your ATS information. Whatever information is required to be provided to the flight crew in order to have a safe flight, okay, or any major update during the flight is provided by the information services. What is the job of the alerting services? The alerting services' major job, and probably the only job, is to carry out search and rescue. Okay, their job is to alert all the teams that can help and carry out the search and rescue. Okay, now let's focus on the main part. We as pilots mainly concern ourselves and deal with air traffic control. This is what you keep hearing. Okay, this is what you keep hearing as ATC, that is air traffic control, right? So now air traffic control, iska primary job we've already studied. It is what? Again, to prevent collisions between aircrafts and obstructions, aircrafts and another aircraft, aircraft and ground equipment, all kinds of collisions, and to maintain an orderly flow of traffic. Okay? Now physically, these air traffic control services are divided into 3 regions. Okay, what are these 3 regions? The regions are the aerodrome control tower, above that we have the approach control, and above that we have the area control. You'll understand what we're talking when I say above, what do we mean. You'll understand it in a minute. Okay. For now, let's just read this. See, the aerodrome control tower is essentially, their main job is to deal with the takeoff and landing of an aircraft. Okay, the takeoff and landing of an aircraft. What does the approach control deal with them? The approach control deals with arrival and departure of an aircraft. Meaning, okay, how does a normal flight take off? Okay, we are taxiing, we taxi out, we come onto the runway. Right? We taxi out, we come onto the runway. Now, finally, when we are on the runway, what we do? We start taking off. We take off. Now that we have taken off, this permission to take off is given by the tower, right? Once we have taken off, okay, now we are a departing traffic, right? Now, approach will take care of us. Approach will make sure we end up climbing, or whatever further instructions are there after the takeoff is being taken care by the approach. Okay, we'll study this in a little more detail in a few seconds. Okay, then we have the area control. What is the area control? It is for en route or airway flying. Okay, now let's look at it. Look, this is how it looks. Okay, we have something called as a tower, which is this. Okay, then we have something known as the approach, which is this. And then this is what we call as an area control. Okay, here, area, approach, tower. Okay, now, see, we have something called as a tower here. What did we study? The tower's responsibilities are to deal with takeoff and landing of an aircraft, right? Now, these things they have, first let's look at, this is a side view, okay? Keep in mind, this is a side view of the whole airspace, okay? If this is the side view, if you look at it vertically, it's going to look as concentric circles. It's going to look something like this, right? Okay, but this is the side view. Essentially, these are cylinders, okay? These are cylinders, vertical cylinders in the air. Okay, I hope you're able to imagine. Now, we have vertical and horizontal limits to these, okay, firstly. Like, and these are hypothetical limits. These change with location to location, area to area, airport to airport. Okay? Now, the tower, in our example, let's say that the tower has a horizontal limit of 5 nautical miles and a vertical limit of, let's say, ground level to flight level 50. Then we have what? Flight level 50 to flight level, what can we say? 290. And then let's say this is flight level 290 all the way to flight level 450. Okay, imagine that these are our limits. Okay, let's write it down here. Let's say this is ground level to flight level 50. Then this is flight level 50 to flight level 290, and this is flight level 450. Okay, these are hypothetical limits again. Okay, these are just taken to explain you this current example. These are not constant. Okay, now its horizontal limits are 5 nautical miles for the towers region. The tower cylinder extends for 5 nautical miles, meaning if this is there, this line, the radius of this circle would be 5 nautical miles. Okay, then the area control extends from the center, okay, which is usually taken from the VOR or the geometric center of the airport, whatever, and it's taken for 25 nautical miles. Okay, and the area control extends for a very wide region. Okay, now coming back to what we were actually talking about, what did we see? The tower handles traffic. Now let's understand this with an example. Okay, the tower handles takeoffs and landings. Let's understand the whole procedure with an example. Okay, let's say you are an aircraft. Okay, you are an aircraft that is here. Okay, you're an aircraft here on the ground. You've taken your takeoff permission. Now the tower can give you permission to take off and climb within the airspace which is under its control. Now what is the airspace within its control? The airspace within its control vertically extends from where? It extends from ground level to flight level 50, right? Meaning your aircraft will be cleared to climb to flight level 50. Okay, after which if you want to climb further up, okay, you will have to contact the approach, because the approach jurisdiction, approach का area स्टार्ट होता है फ्लाइट लेवल 50 से लेके फ्लाइट लेवल 290 तक. दैट इज इट्स एरिया. दैट इज दिस, राइट? Flight level 290 to flight level 50. This is whose area? This is approach's area, right? So now tower ka jurisdiction is still where? Tower ka jurisdiction is from ground level to flight level 50. Uske baad, if you want to climb further up, you have to call the approach. Now the approach will clear you to climb from flight level 50 to flight level 290, which is its area. It cannot clear you to climb to flight level 300 because that does not come under its area, right? So it will clear you to whatever his area extends up to. Okay. Now, if you want to climb above this, he will then tell you to contact area control. So now you'll have to come here. And now you will contact area control. Say you want to ultimately climb to flight level 360. Okay, let's say you want to climb to flight level 360. Okay, hypothetically. Now, area control will give you the permission to climb to flight level 360. Why? Because it is their jurisdiction from flight level 290 all the way up to flight level 450. This is their airspace. So they take care of this, right? Now, let's look at it in the opposite way. Let's say you're coming from an airway, okay? An airway can be understood as a highway in the air, okay? Just like we have highways, and this is an example I usually use in class also. Look, when we have a highway, okay, let's say, does the highway go to each and every town, city, village? No, right? It goes from the important points or important city to city. Then we have that road branching out, right? We have the service road, then we have a bypass, then we have a smaller road that's going in, right? And that is how we reach our final destination. So an airway can be thought as a highway in the air, right? We have to leave that highway and come down. Okay, break off from that highway in order to reach our destination. So think of this as the highway, okay, in the sky. Now, say you are coming from somewhere, you're coming from point A to B. Say you're coming from Delhi to Bombay. Okay, you're coming from Delhi to Bombay. Then what's happening? You're coming from Delhi to Bombay now. Now, you want to descend. When you're close to Bombay, let's say that this is Bombay. Okay, here. Now, if you want to descend from here, first what you do, whatever your flight level is, say you're on flight level 360. Okay. Now, first you'll have to contact area control. You'll tell them that, hey, listen, I'm at flight level 360 and I intend to descend. Again, following the same logic, area control can clear you only till its jurisdiction. It can clear you to, it will tell you to descend to flight level 290. You'll descend to flight level 290. Thereafter, they will tell you to contact approach. Approach will then clear you to descend from flight level 290 down to flight level 50. After that, you'll have to contact tower in order to come and land from flight level 50. Okay. So let's go back to what we studied here. Okay, let's look at this together. What did tower take care of? Tower took care of your takeoff and landing of an aircraft, right? They helped you to take off here, and in this case, they help you to land, right? And they took you till wherever its airspace extends vertically, whatever its jurisdiction is. Thereafter, once you became a departing traffic, approach's control is what? Approach's responsibility is what? Its responsibility is to make you reach area control and give you clearance, further clearance, so that you can reach this highway. Okay. Thereafter, climbing and getting down from this highway, right, is the job of the area control, right? Similarly, staying on this highway, which is why it says en route or airway flying for area control. When you're on the airway, you are the responsibility of the area control. Even if you want to leave that airway or join the airway, you will be the responsibility of area control. You come under their jurisdiction. So you're on the airway, you come down, then you become an arriving traffic. These people tell you how to make it. That's why it's approach, right? How will you make that approach? They will guide you in a way so that you can come all the way close to the aerodrome. From the airway, you've descended down now, but you're still high. You're still at flight level 290. So they'll get you even more closer to the aerodrome. Okay, they'll probably put you in a holding pattern. They'll probably ask you to descend, once you are 35 nautical miles near the aerodrome or whatever, depending on the situation. And after that, they'll ask you to further descend to flight level 50. After which, depending on the traffic conditions, the tower will finally advise you and clear you for landing. Okay, you getting my point? Now, this is very important. Now, let's look at a diagram which summarizes this. See, you're in a tower, right? You take off, right? Once you're taking off, you're going to look something like this, your control areas. And now, ignore this here, ignore this, okay? Ignore all of this, okay? Let's just look at this diagram, okay? So, you're going to take off from the tower, you're going to climb up, and then they are going to give you further permission to climb up and join this air route, right? So approach's job is to deal with arriving and departing traffic. It guides the departing traffic how to reach the airway, and it guides the arriving traffic on how to leave that airway and come down until the tower can take you and advise you for a landing. Okay, this broadly explains what ATS services are. Okay, ATS services are the three of them: control, information, and alerting services. Control has three parts. Control has control tower, approach control, and area control. Okay, this is how it looks in the side view, and the responsibilities are given here. Information services provide you with information which is required during the flight for a safe and efficient flying, and the alerting services provide you information and search and rescue services. Okay, search and rescue services. Okay, so we've seen what ATS services are, what are the responsibilities, and how does a flight actually take place. Now, talking from the perspective of an RT exam, what are you going to do? You'll be handed over an aircraft here. The tower will clear you to climb till flight level 50 or whatever, 50. After which, you will have to look at the approach frequency and contact them in order to take permission for further climb. That is your responsibility in the exam, right? You have to pay attention to the vertical limits and the horizontal limits of the approach, area control, and tower. Okay, from here, once you've taken and switched over to the approach frequency, you'll request for a climb all the way up to flight level 290, which is its vertical limit. Or even if you ask for a climb, say you ask for a climb till your intended flight level of flight level 360, like we spoke, the approach can clear you only up till its jurisdiction. So it will clear you to flight level 290, after which it will instruct you to contact area control. So once you reach 290, you're going to then switch over to approach frequency, area control frequency, and I'm going to then call area control and then request for the climb up till 360. So this switching over of frequency, you have to be attentive and see what the vertical limits are of the area control and of the tower and of the approach. Now when we look at the same figure of area control, approach control, and of the tower in a top-down view, what you see is that they'll form concentric circles, right? That is how it's going to look. And like we spoke in our previous example, the radius of our towers was 5 nautical miles. So the innermost circle is going to signify tower. The second circle signifies the horizontal boundaries, that's 25 nautical miles of your approach. And the last circle signifies the boundary of your area control. These give you your horizontal limits. Now the question is, how do you see your vertical limits? See, when you're looking at the map, and we'll discuss about how is it drawn on the map, we'll have a brief description of how do you read a map also. But for now, the way it will be written is, you'll have something written as ground level to flight level 50. Okay, what does flight level mean? Flight level 50 basically means 5,000 feet. Okay. Flight level 460 means 46,000 feet. So basically you add 2 zeros to whatever flight level is. Okay. Few details that you should know is the lowest flight level in India is flight level 50. The highest flight level is flight level 450. But the highest available airspace is flight level 460. So this 1000 feet which is there, usually in normal flying, whenever you are flying, you will be allowed and clear to fly till flight level 450. Okay, but your available airspace to civil aviation is available till flight level 460. This 1000 feet buffer which is given, imagine that this is flight level 450 and this is flight level 460. This 1000 feet buffer is given in case an aircraft needs to climb in case of an emergency. Say that there is another opposing traffic here at flight level 450. One will have to descend and one will have to climb. So he should have some space to climb. So this 1000 feet buffer is provided. But in normal circumstances, the highest available flight level will always be flight level 450. Okay, so pay attention and keep this in mind. Coming back to our limits again. So our tower limits was ground level to flight level 50. So it will be written as a dash with flight level 50 written as the numerator and ground level written as the denominator. Similarly, our approaches boundaries were what? Flight level 50 all the way up to flight level 290. And our area control took over from flight level 290 all the way till flight level 450. Right? So your lateral and horizontal limits will be written like this. Your vertical limits will be written like this. Say that you're a traffic which is 25 nautical miles inbound, okay, and you're flying at a flight level of 120, okay. So you know that laterally and vertically you are in the limits of the approach. So you know you're going to call the approach, right? So you have to keep sure in paper as to what is your vertical limit and what's your horizontal distance. Okay. Majorly you have to pay attention to your vertical limits. All right. Because that will define whom will you be making the call to and whose responsibility are you. You're the traffic and who's going to take care of you. Is it going to be approach? Is it going to be area control? Or is it going to be tower? Right. So say that again, let's take our previous example that you're a plane flying at flight level 360 and you want to descend. Okay. So you'll be somewhere here in flight level 360. You'll be the responsibility of whom? Area control. They will clear the area control's responsibility. You will clear descent to flight level 290. Then you'll change over to approach frequency. Then they will clear you to descend to flight level 50. After which from 50 to getting you to the ground, you'll be the responsibility of the tower. Now sometimes you will not have things written like this. Okay. You will have probably something written as flight level 50 to flight level 460. And this will be written as flight level 290 to flight level 450. Now take a moment and think and tell me, what do you think this means? What does this mean? Right? Because like we saw in a previous example, right? What was it initially? Let me write the initial values with green. Okay, initially what did it look like? It looked like flight level 50 to flight level 290 and flight level 290 to flight level 450. So if you notice here, in our ideal conditions, the upper limit of tower is the lower limit of approach and the upper limit of approach is the lower limit of area control. This is the standard way of functioning, right? This is what we saw. But now that we've discussed this, सोच के बताओ, what do you think this means? Let me help you out. Look, when they say, when you're given limits like this, okay, what this means is that the approach in certain circumstance, depending upon the traffic load, okay, how much traffic is there, he can handle the traffic all the way that is coming from flight level 460 and bring him down to flight level 50. In other words, what this means is कि उसका jurisdiction जो है, जो पहले extends only from flight level 50 to 290, under certain circumstance, if the area control hands him over that traffic, then he can operate that traffic and guide him all the way from flight level 460 to flight level 50. ठीक है? But what we have to pay attention in the exam is कि what is a general trend? कि upper limit of tower should match the lower limit of approach. The upper limit of approach should match the lower limit of area control. So effectively, unless specified, we are going to assume that the approach's limits, okay, the effective limits will still be flight level 50 to flight level 290 itself. Okay? So now say that you are a traffic coming in at, say again, you are a traffic coming in at flight level 360. Okay? The area control might hand the traffic over to approach and tell him that, hey, for this one particular traffic, you guide him all the way from flight level 360, which otherwise in normal circumstance was a traffic for the area control to take care all the way till flight level 290. But for this one flight, they might tell him that, hey, contact the approach and approach will guide you all the way till flight level 50. But under normal circumstances, this is what you will have to automatically assume, that the lower limit of area is the upper limit of approach. Okay. Now let's have a look on the maps, and now let's discuss about how is all this represented on a map. Okay, now that we have a brief idea of what approach, what area control and what towers look like, okay, we've seen it from a side view, we've seen it from a top-down view. Let's see how is this represented on a map. This will help you to stitch it everything together, okay? Everything we've learned, you'll stitch it all together here. So I'll explain you everything that is there on a map and what will you need to know. Firstly, you'll have a 3-letter code, okay? This is your VOR identifier, okay? These two represent your runways, fine? So this is your VOR identifier, which will be set as Bravo, 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 fine. Now I'd like you to notice this, okay? Bravo, 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 this is, we are looking at the Mumbai region, and all these maps are hypothetical, okay? None of their values are counted in real life. Yes, a few waypoints, a few routes and all, they are real, but majority, everything here is going to be considered hypothetical itself, okay? So see, we just spoke about that some places, sometimes you might be given your horizontal limits as this. So what is it? Your first limit starts from ground to 70. What is this? This is the limit for your tower, like as discussed, right? Tower extends from ground to a specified upper limit, and above that you have area control, approach, and above that you have area control, correct? So ground level to 70 is your tower, right? That's this, right? Then, like we spoke, you see how here it is written 70 to 460, right? And 150 to 460, right? What does that mean? See, the upper limit of our tower is the lower limit of our approach. Yes, this is the second circle, right? This is the second concentric circle. This first one is for our tower, right? So 70 is the lower limit of our approach, okay? But does the upper limit of approach match the lower limit of area control? No. So we're going to convert this and we're going to write this as 150 and 70. Meaning under normal circumstance, you will use 70 to 150. If you're flying anywhere between these flight levels, you'll be contacting approach. From ground level to 70, you're going to be contacting tower. And from 150 all the way to 460 are going to be calling area control. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so always pay attention to these, that the upper limit of the tower should match the lower limit of approach, the upper limit of approach should match the lower limit of area control. Okay. Now always remember, whom you are going to contact depends on the horizontal and vertical coverage. Horizontally and vertically, you have to be in their jurisdiction, right? You could probably be at flight level, what? Say you're at flight level 130, but you are outside, okay? But you're outside this. Then whom are you going to call? In that case, you're still going to call area control, right? Now there's something again very important to know, which is TMA. Okay, you'll see this written at a lot of places, right? Let me show you. For example, yeah, let's look at Chennai. Okay, Chennai is very neatly made, ground level to 50, 50 to 150 and 150 to TMA. That's your terminal movement area, which is nothing but a different name for area control. See, we already noticed it here. If you come up here, look at this. What does it say? Right? Area control is CTA or TMA, right? So the same thing here. When we're looking at this, let's look at Chennai here. See. So ground level to 50, 50 to 150, 150 to TMA, meaning any traffic coming above flight level of 150 up till the highest flight level available, which is in our country, what is it? It's flight level 460, right? That's our max available airspace. So anything coming above 150 and more than 50 nautical miles away, right, will contact the area control, right? So vertically and horizontally, both the ways, he is going to contact the area control, right? Anything below 150 and above 50, he's going to call the approach, right? If he is within 50 nautical miles from the station. And anything lesser than that, he's going to call the tower. Now, one other very quick way of noticing is the frequencies will be written. See, Chennai has a surface movement control with its frequency. It has a tower. So you have the tower frequency, it has an approach and it has an area control also, which is why you have an area control frequency. Now see, a lot of places we will not have, like I said, a simple trick of knowing what all units are offered at an airport. We just look at what all frequencies are mentioned, right? Here you see we have what all mentioned here. Okay, look at it in terms of Hyderabad. In Hyderabad we have a tower and we have an area control, right? We have no approach. Let's look at the limits. See, it says ground level to 100. Okay, and this is the first circle. So we know that ground level to 100 is going to be tower, right? But then the upper limit of the tower does not match the next lower limit. That means we have to assume that this is ground level to flight level 150. Okay, are the tower's boundaries. Anything above 150 is going to be Hyderabad TMA. Okay, or it's going to straight away come to area control. So if we are flying above flight level of 150, okay, we are going to contact area control on 118.3. So a lot of places have a combined system. A lot of places have it divided into, more segments. It has 3 units. It has 4 units. Sometimes it also has a surface movement control, then a tower, then an approach, and then an area control. Some places like Hyderabad just has a tower and area control. It does not have an approach, right? So keep it in mind, whenever you have to see in whose jurisdiction you are, always look for the Hyderabad or Nagpur or wherever you are, always look for the TMA, okay? That's your terminal maneuvering area, terminal movement area. And that is basically nothing but equal to your area control, okay? So you'll have to pay attention to these upper limits and lower limits and make some assumptions, okay? Ground level to 100, but it does not match. The next lower limit is 150. So 150 is going to be the upper limit here. So ground level to 150 is tower and anything above 150 is your Hyderabad TMA. That's what's written in this map, right? Okay. So this is to do with your maps and the boundaries. Now there are a few other things on the map. Look, you see these lines coming out, okay? These lines are nothing but these are your radials, okay? These are your radials and these are airway routes which are coming out of your station, okay? You have your whiskey and these have names, okay? These are airway names. You see how this is Whiskey Niner Niner. This is Golf 450. This is Whiskey 38, okay? And then you'll also notice there are these triangles, okay? There are these triangles written with like 5-letter words. Like this one is called Delta. This one is called Uptar. This one is called Tamid. This one is called Ninat. This one is called Dewbox, okay? So you'll see these all have like these 5-letter names, right? What do these mean? Look, the one written like these, like Golf 450 in alphanumeric, like these, okay? All of these are airway names, meaning if you want to go from Bravo Papa Lima, which is Bhopal, and you want to fly to Jabalpur, which is here, okay? You will take off from Bravo Papa Lima and you'll fly Alpha 7901 all the way till Jabalpur. Okay, think of it like a highway, how we have National Highway and we have numbers like National Highway 24, National Highway 28. Similarly, these are highways, right? We already spoke about it, that airways are nothing but highways in the sky. So this highway is called Alpha 7901. This highway between, say I want to fly from Bravo Papa Lima to Nagpur, okay, from Bhopal to Nagpur. So what will my route look like? Bravo Papa Lima to Delta, then Whiskey 38 to November Papa. So I know I'll fly from Bravo Papa Lima to Delta, and from there I'm going to fly Whiskey 38 to November Papa. Okay. Now, some places you'll notice we were talking about these 5-letter ones, right? Delta. Now these are mandatory reporting points. Okay. These are your mandatory reporting points or waypoints, and these waypoints are given by 5-letter names. Okay, these are 5-letter names and these are random names. Like Sabap, it means nothing, but it's just a combination of 5 letters which is unique to this identification marker. Okay, similarly Delta, similarly Bijil, similarly Uptar. If you look at it, you can track and navigate from anywhere. Okay, say that we were supposed to navigate from Bravo all the way to Khajuraho, which is here. Okay, say we were supposed to navigate from Bravo, which is here, all the way to Khajuraho, which is here. So how will we navigate? Look, so my route will look something like Bravo to Opaka, okay, from Opaka to Alpha Uniform via Golf 450 to Ninat, again continuing on Golf 450 all the way till November Papa. From there I'll take Whiskey Niner to Sabap, right? From there I will fly to Juliet Bravo, and from Juliet Bravo I'll fly Whiskey 66 all the way to Kilo Juliet, right? And so that is how we give our routes, or that is how we'll be given the routes even in the exam. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, some places you will also notice that you have something written as Whiskey 10 North and Whiskey 10 South. What do these mean? And why is this last letter additionally given? So now these are additionally given to give you something. A simple example would be that these are one-way routes. Meaning, if you are flying, okay, let's see this. Let's say you're flying from Bodar, okay, you're flying from somewhere here all the way to Indore, okay. Since Indore, if you see, okay, let's align this to north. If this is north, then this is east. You see how Indore is roughly to the north of Bodar, okay. Ideally, it is to the east, but vertically, it is to the north, right? From in the line of Bodar, it is vertically a little to the north, meaning the traffic can only flow in this direction. only northerly traffic can flow in this direction. Okay. And if we are going from Indore to Songarh, which is here, okay, then you see how Songarh is roughly to the south of Indore, right? See, it is to the south of Indore, right? If I draw it, then that means traffic can only go and use Whiskey 10 if they are flying from Indore to Songarh in this direction. I cannot fly from Songarh to Indore on Whiskey 10 south. So these are directional routes, okay? We cannot use them in the other way. Whiskey 10 north can only be used if the traffic is going roughly to the north direction. Whiskey 10 south can be used only if we are going roughly to the southern direction, right? I hope that makes sense. Now, some places if you see, you'll also have your restricted areas and your danger areas marked. You just have to pay attention to the last letter. R stands for restricted, D stands for danger, P stands for prohibited. Okay. Now let's see that, look, now there are a few ways to navigate. Okay, there are a few ways to dictate your route. For this example, let's say that I'm taking off from Mangalore, okay, and I intend to go to Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. I want to take off from Mike, Mike, Lima, and I want to go to Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. Look, firstly here, you'll never name the airport. You'll never call it Mangalore to Bombay. Okay, you'll always talk in phonetics. You'll call it as Mike, Mike, Lima and Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. The 5-letter, these words, the waypoints, these will be said as complete words. Like this will be said as Epcos, this will be Bogart, this will be Opamo, this will be Gunim. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind. So now let's see, how can we navigate? Let's look at our probable routes. How many routes can we have? We can fly from Mike, Mike, Lima to Ekati. Ekati to, what is this? Belgaum, right? From there we can fly to Ipcos, and from there we can fly Bravo 211 all the way to Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. That is one route. Second, we can fly from Mike, Mike, Lima to Alden. Alden, say we can take Whiskey 15 to Golf, Golf, Oscar, right? From there we can take what? We have two routes. We can take Whiskey 15 north, and we are actually going north like we spoke. If we are going north, this is one-way route, right? You see how Whiskey 15 north, it is a unidirectional route, meaning we can only go in a northern side if we are going towards the northern direction. So we can use this route. So from Golf, Golf, Oscar, we can go to what? Okila. From there we can go to Kapso, and from there we can take Whiskey 17 north or Whiskey 15 north, whatever, to reach Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. See, from Golf, Golf, Oscar. Now see, can we fly on this route? We can't. Why? Because it says, what does it say? It says Whiskey 17 south. That means we cannot fly north. We can only fly south on this. We cannot fly north, right? Because it's a unidirectional route. Fine. So we have one route is like this. Another route is like this. Okay. Then say probably, let's say that these both routes are shut. Okay. Then we can fly from Mike, Mike, Lima to Pexag all the way to Bravo, India, Alpha. From Bravo, India, Alpha, we can take Whiskey 56 north to Opamo. Then we can fly to the NDB, which is in Bellary. From there, we can fly on Whiskey 56 north to Mint. Continue on Whiskey 56 north to Agela via Avacor. Whiskey 56 north all the way till Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. So another route is like what? Like this, right? Now say that we do not have time. Say we have had a delay. Okay, we have to make it to our destination as soon as possible. So what can we do? We can request to directly join at one of these waypoints. Okay, on the route. Okay, see these two routes, imagine that both of these routes are shut. Okay, we cannot take the route. Okay, Whiskey 15 is shut, and so is this route also. Okay, let's say our initial route which we planned and filed the flight plan was via Pexgag, Whiskey 81 to Bravo India Alpha, Whiskey 56 north to Bellary, then Whiskey 56 North, all the way till Bravo, Bravo, Bravo via all these reporting points. Okay. But let's say now I want to save time. Okay, so what can I say? I can just say that I'm going to fly from Mike Lima directly to Opamo. From there, I'll fly to Bellary. From there, I'll take Whiskey 56 North to Mint, then to Agela, then to Avocor, all the way till Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. So you see how I did not actually fly on any particular highway. I just directly flew. Okay, there is no air route here. Is there? Can you see any air route marked here? No. So I'll directly take off from Mike Lima and I'll fly till Opamo. Okay, how will I write that? I will write that as Mike Lima DCT to Opamo when I'm writing it on my paper. Meaning from Mike Lima, I'll directly fly to Opamo and there is no airway. But when I'm doing this, it's always beneficial to also mention the radials I'll be crossing. Okay, like see, I take off from here. Okay, I take off from here. So here roughly I'm cutting what? I'm cutting Romeo 461. I'm crossing Romeo 461. Then I'm also crossing Whiskey 56 South. So I can use these crossing points as my estimates. Right? You'll understand this more when we are solving questions. But for now, you have to keep this in mind that there are multiple ways for you to navigate, right? You can even take a direct route where the particular air route is not available if the situation is such. Okay. So this is to do a little about your airways. It gives you a general idea of your map. It gives you a general idea of what does the approach, area control, tower look like on the map. It gives you what boundaries look like. What does TMA mean? Now, one last thing which is there to mention is that you have something called as the FIRs. Okay, these are flight information regions. Okay, think of these like headquarters, and there are 4. You have Mumbai, you have Chennai, you have Delhi, and you have Kolkata. You also have Guwahati, which is a sub FIR. So now these 4 regions, they are majorly going to provide you with all the flight information and the alerting services which are required in this whole region. Right? These are the flight information regions. Okay, these are headquarters, and the whole country is divided into 4 regions. There's Mumbai, there's Chennai, there is Kolkata, and there's Delhi. Okay. Now, we'll talk more about this when we're solving papers. You'll get a general hang of this when we're going to solve papers via various formats. So yeah, if it's getting too much of information to consume now, don't be worried. All of this is very simple. It is very straightforward. It is as good as talking between 2 friends, right? It's that simple. So go through this whole video, pay attention to all the small details that are mentioned, try to correlate it, try to imagine it, all these cylinders, look at it in the side view, look at it in the top view, and for any doubts, you can let us know in the comments below. I hope you understood this, and I'll meet you in the next video.